Hey Mike, this is the base program we talked about for Warmup. So you've got your daily stuff that you do from Ron, all your your foam rolling, your stretching series, your mobility work that you do. The thing I wanted to add to that was your trunk rotation. So I talked about getting in sideline and doing a rib, what I call it, like opening up the ribs. So I'll show you that one first. And that one is on the table, kind of in hook side lying position with your knees bent up. And what you would do from there is you're in a resting comfortable position, neutral. You grab off of your rib cage and you're gonna kind of peel open against a fixed lower body, nice and slow. And what I told you to do is take it to a comfortable mid-back stretch point and then kind of hold there for about 2 breaths in and out, relaxing, no tension, just feel loose, relax, and then go back. And then I'll have you do like 3 to 5 of those with the 8 to 10 second hold, trying to open up and then switch to the other side. So that was the one I wanted to add to some of your daily mobility work. And then we talked about going over to a wall to give you a little feedback. And on the wall, we were in stance position with a little bit of a golf stance. Then from that position, we set up with arms across chest. We added a little bit of turn, and then from the turn, you go ahead and get to the wall where you can add a little bit of counter pressure back and turning my body almost a little bit to the left as my hands stay to the right. And then I can hold that for 5, release back, go back again, maybe go a little further each time and do 3 or 4 reps where you're trying to get a little further on your trunk rotation, but again, feeling you're in neutral position and rotating through there and holding it for 5. And then of course going over to the other side and doing the other side for the same reps. Then I talked to you about just working more like the lower body, kind of rotating through the lower body, which was rotating your pelvis. And I talked about knee flex. So what we did there is we blocked your hands to the wall this time, and we worked on from neutral position a little bit here, engaging my core a little bit, and we worked on trying to turn your pelvis a little bit. And I'm letting your knees change flex because I want you to actually get a little bit of a stretch. So I'm allowing your knees to change flex. My left knee is flexing, my right leg is straightening, but my pelvis is rotating with it. So you get pelvic rotation, and you're not just rotating around a fixed point like that, which would be a little too extreme for your hip. So we're allowing knee flex change, holding for 3 to 5 seconds in each position, keeping the upper body real quiet. Get a feel for the end range. And you're going to do 3 to 5 on each side with those similar 3 to 5 second holds as you go into that position. So then we talked about going up and starting to get more in your golf position. So from the golf position, I talked about loosening up your upper body from 3 different positions with footwork. We talked about a narrow stance, and in the narrow stance, we did some kind of relaxed rotations. Everything loose, not trying to force motion, but just being really loose and turning. And I'll do about 10 or 12 rotations here. Then I go to a regular stance or even a little bit wider. And we're just trying to feel loose. This is your upper body, loosening up your upper body. And then I went to a split stance a little bit and did the same thing. And I'm just trying to feel loose. Again, it's rhythm. And we go through that on the other side. And then I talked about doing some spine tilts just to loosen up your trunk for tilts. So we did narrow stance and we do 10 or 12 tilts. So now I'm rotating like this way. Instead of rotating around my body, I'm rotating in tilt because your spine needs to rotate in tilt in the golf swing. And again, this is just loosening up. You've already done all your stretching. And then back to the wide position. Get a little bit more of this tilt and flow. And then into more of a split stance position where I'm again tilting and flow. And all I'm doing here is trying to get my whole trunk to start moving a little more free as I'm doing it. So then after you did that, I talked about trying to get into holding key positions with a little more of the end range stretch. So I'm across my chest here. I set up in my golf swing. I go to the top and I hold it for 1, 2, 3. Come down, 1, 2, 3. And finish 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do about 3 of those with like a right-handed swing. And then I'm going to tilt my shoulders the other way and do it as if I'm doing a lefty swing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Rotate through. 1, 2, 3. And again, Now what I'm trying to feel is holds at the end of my range of motion, so my body can feel like it's comfortable at the ends of range, more of the extreme ranges of motion before I start actually swinging. And then the last thing was just talking about rhythm. So with the rhythm drills, we talked about doing different drills, again, from the stance positions. So we were doing the 180 thing, where you go from one side to the other, from narrow stance, just real loose, to wide stance, to stagger stance. Changing your body positions, allowing different feels for your lower body to be resisted or for the lower body to be looser through those different patterns of movement. And then lastly, you're going to go ahead and do more just from your golf stance of the more full swings. Okay, but again, we're doing shaft swings to start so that we're nice and light and easy. And I want you to do about maybe 8 or 10 full swings on right side and 8 or 10 full swings on left side. And that's going to help you with feeling just more of the more dynamic movement in the swing as you get loosened up into that. Okay.